Hello guys, today we're going to talk about two lessons, 8-8, geometric patterns, and 8-9, congruent polygons. I thought there were two different chapters that were a little bit on the easier side. They're kind of more of a review. We've learned this stuff before. So I wanted to combine them so we can move on a little bit faster and get into the next chapter. So anyways, our goals are going to be to recognize, describe, and extend geometric patterns, and that you would be able to identify congruent figures and use congruents to solve problems. All right, so let's get started. So first off, we're going to have to try to identify a possible pattern. We're going to use the pattern to draw the next figure. Okay, so as I'm looking at here, I'm seeing the small shapes within the figure are shaded one at a time from bottom to top. Okay, so we can see bottom to top, nothing, top to bottom. Then the figure is rotated and the top triangle is shaded. Okay, so we just rotated it. All right, so the next figure is going to look like a square. Now, does this have to be perfect? No, because I know you're hand drawing them. Then I would kind of go like this number a little bit. And top, middle, bottom. So my bottom one should be shaded in. I'll try to find some kind of a green. It's not going to really match here much, but it'll have to do. There we go. So that one is what our next figure should look like. All right, let's try another one. So as I'm looking at this shape, the figures from the left to right are a 1x1 square, a 2x2, a 3x3, 4x4. So the next figure is going to be a 5. Ooh, this is going to be tricky to draw. And it looks like I left my pen a little bit thicker than usual. All right, so 5. 1. That means I need to draw 4 lines. Okay, 4 lines, check. And 4 lines up the other way. 1, 2, ooh, that's a terrible line. 3, and 4. Okay, good enough. Now I'm going to need to draw some purple dots in there. I'm going to get a little bit larger of a color here. And let's see, purple. Here we go. Okay, so I see the dots 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So they kind of go in every other pattern, but they always start in the bottom corner. And then they do like a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's what the next figure would look like here. Okay, so let's try some more. Identify a possible pattern. Use the pattern to draw. Oh, same directions. Okay, except for this time we're going to miss a middle pattern. All right, so as I'm looking at this one, I see the first figure from the bottom row to the top has 4 squares. The next figure, oh sorry, then 3, then 2, then 1. The next figure has 5 squares in the bottom row, and then 4, 3, 2, 1. So the next one that's missing is probably going to have 6. So let's count these ones here first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 7 on this one, so we need 6 squares. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then I would come here, go down. 1, 2, 3. Kind of match them up a little bit. Okay, and now I need to talk about shading in. So this one, the first one was shaded in. This one, the second one was shaded in. That's not a way to look at it. Here I'm seeing the number 1 cube is always blank. The 2 is always filled in. 3 is blank. 4 is always, so the even number cubes are the ones that need to be filled in. Okay, we can do that. So 2 should be colored in. 4 should be colored in. And 6 should be colored in. The ones with an even number of squares in them. Okay, well, let's try our next one. Okay, so each figure has an equilateral triangle. The first figure has 3 red triangles along the base. The third figure has 5 red triangles, and the fourth figure has 6. So the only number we skipped was 4. So I'm going to need to do 4. This is going to be real tricky to draw, but that's okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I know this is very large and it wouldn't be the 2 scale, but so I need 4 red triangles along the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of. Then I would do a line across, and these need to be colored in. Okay, then on top of that, I would do 1, and then color in this one, and this one. Draw my line to make my triangles. So 4, 3, then I would still need 2. Okay, 1, 2. Oh yeah, there we go. It's not exactly equilateral like they show in the picture, but we got the same idea down. It's okay. All right, so that's what our next figure would look like. Let's try one more. Dan is painting a clay pot. Identify a pattern in Dan's design and tell what the finished pot might look like. Okay, so the pattern from bottom to top is narrow, thick, narrow, thick, narrow. And then it also follows the pattern of blue, green, yellow, blue, green, yellow. So this one's kind of a double pattern here. So if the pattern is followed, the pot would look like, let me get my colors here. All right, so if this is what my pot looked like so far, then my next stripe would be a thick yellow. And my next stripe after that would be a narrow, what goes after yellow? Blue. Narrow blue. And then a thick green. And then a narrow yellow. I think that should about fill out the rest of the pot. So I'm leaving spaces between my colors so you can easily see them. So anyways, if you were to finish off the pot, that is what it would look like. And the design would be narrow, wide, narrow, wide, narrow, wide. And then the secondary pattern would be blue, green, yellow, blue, green, yellow, blue, green, yellow. So anyways, now let's get on to the congruence part. Decide whether the figures in the pair are congruent. I guess first we need to tell exactly what does congruence mean. And congruent means same size, same shape. So it means exactly the same thing. There's no difference between the two. Sometimes we get congruent and similar mixed up because congruent means same size and shape, and similar just means same shape. So it's kind of confusing between those two. We just really need to make sure we take the time to keep them straight. So anyways, we're trying to determine if these figures are congruent. So are they exactly the same? So as I'm looking at these two here, I can say no, they are not congruent. They are both quadrilaterals. I'm using too big of a pen and now it's not going to fit. E-R-A-L-S. They are both quadrilaterals, but they are not the same size or the same shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, they're not similar even either. Okay, they are both quadrilaterals, but not the same size and shape. All right, so then when we look at the next one down here, let's compare. Now, they don't immediately look like they are the same shape. That's why we need to really look at all the markings that they tell us, because that should really let us know, are they congruent or not? So here I have a 12 centimeters and a 12 centimeters, followed by a 1 dash line angle, 1 dash line angle, then a 20 centimeter connected to that 1 dash line angle. Okay. And when I say 1 dash line angle, you can see right here. Remember when I said we're doing angle sizes? I mean, this is 90 degree, but if they're the same, we do one. Just like if these two are congruent, we'd each do one. If these two are congruent, we'd do two on them, if they're different from the one side. So that's what I mean by that. Then here, it's followed by a 2 dash angle, a 16, and a 90 degree angle. Now we have to be careful. All of these are in order. They could have flip-flopped the 16 and the 20, and they would have all the same numbers, but they're not in the same order. So I'd pick a spot and I'd go around the shape to see, do they follow, if I'm going clockwise or if I'm going counterclockwise, do they follow the same pattern, is what I would really be careful about. So these are congruent. So then for this, all I have to do is write congruent. I do not even have to explain or anything. It just says if it's not, then explain. So that is all that I have for you today. It'll be nice to have 2 chapters, 2 lessons in one. So we'll work hard tomorrow and get these done, and then we'll be good to go. Anyways, thank you for watching.